Welcome to the Software Next Gen Firewall overview video. Here we talk about network security with software firewalls, which provides an agile, zero trust platform to secure your hybrid multi-cloud environment. With the adoption of cloud, customers today have versatile environment from on-prem to cloud. For example, combination of private cloud, virtual data center, and public cloud. All our machine learning powered cloud delivered security services extend to our software firewalls as well, enabling you to stop zero-day threats in zero time. It comes in 3 form factors and allows you to protect your applications, users, and critical data from the most sophisticated threats, no matter which cloud environment you choose. VM series, which is the self-managed software next-gen firewall for protecting private and public cloud, the CN series for protecting your container environment, and we have Cloud NGFW, which is our firewall as a managed service offering. For enterprises, network visibility has never been more critical or complex. Palo Alto Networks address this by offering a centralized management console. Strata Cloud Manager is our cloud-delivered management solutions, providing single pane of glass view for centrally managing all next-gen firewalls for consistent visibility, policy management, logging, and monitoring for on-prem and in the cloud. Panorama is our software and hardware-based model which can be deployed in any environment, and it also supports Cloud NGFW. So same security policies, log visibility you had for hardware and VM series firewall can now be applied to Cloud NGFW for AWS and Azure as well. Let us now take a look at Strata Cloud Manager, which manages the Palo Alto Networks next-gen firewalls seamlessly through a SaaS service. It organizes the entire infrastructure configuration in a logical hierarchy in the form of folders. This gives the flexibility to access and provide simplified configuration management. Consider a global organization with a vast digital landscape. This has dynamic, hybrid, and multi-cloud environment which forms the backbone of operations. We have data centers spread across AWS, GCP, and Azure, and also in on-prem environment. It also has few branch locations in APAC region and few on-prem data center environment in the North America region. A unified defense approach is adopted by this organization where the software next-gen firewalls provide security and enforcement for cloud and virtualized environment, and the hardware firewalls protect one of the data centers as well. These firewalls can have labels applied to filter on specific group of firewalls for configuration changes. Once the folder structure is in place, administrators can now onboard the software next-gen firewall to SCM. So if the enterprise expands and a new software firewall has been added, the administrators can go to device association, click on add devices, and you can select one or more firewalls you want to onboard with this specific CSP. So you can select the firewalls and click on save to save the changes. Once the devices are onboarded, go to workflow, device management, and under available devices, you should see the 2 firewalls which were added. You can select the firewalls and move to cloud management to be managed by Strata Cloud Manager. Once the devices are added to the cloud managed devices section, you can add these devices to folders and start pushing the configurations. Now switching gears to Panorama, this is our on-prem management solution. Like Strata Cloud Manager, Panorama can also manage all the next-gen firewalls from Palo Alto Networks from a single console, irrespective of the form factor. All the firewalls that Panorama manages are called managed devices and can be seen under managed devices summary. As you can see here, in this Panorama, I have a VM series firewall in AWS, Azure, and also GCP being managed from this console. We also have a data center firewall and Cloud NGFW for Azure instance being added. Now let us assume that this customer wants to extend its cloud footprint and comes up with a new data center in AWS in a new region. For security, the customer decides to adopt the firewall as a managed service offering, which is our Cloud NGFW for AWS, to reduce the operational overhead. But at the same time, instead of managing a new UI, the customer wants to use this existing panorama as a single pane of glass for the entire infrastructure. Adding a new Cloud NGFW to Panorama is also fairly simple. Once the tenant is onboarded and the firewalls deployed, you can add the panorama from the integration section. Click on Add Panorama, give it a name. When you select the drop down, it lists all the panorama associated with the CSP. So you can select the panorama, click on Continue, and once you confirm the changes, the panorama is now ready to be associated with the firewalls. You can go to the firewall resources. From the firewall settings section, select Panorama and choose the newly added panorama for this firewall resource. After you save the changes, this associated panorama now becomes the policy management console for the Cloud NGFW resource. Going back to Panorama, the newly added tenant shows up in the Cloud NGFW section. You can go to Device Group and configure Device Group and Template Stack for this Cloud NGFW resource. From the Resources section, you can associate the newly created Device Group for this firewall resource. You are now ready to configure and push the policies to the Cloud NGFW resources. Now that we have our building blocks ready, customers can start applying security controls within their environment. Palo Alto Networks cloud-delivered security services are natively integrated, offering best-in-class AI and ML-enabled protection everywhere. Our software next-gen firewalls provides protection for vulnerability exploits, command and control-based attacks, web attacks, data theft, and many other cyber attacks. Software firewalls deployed in a hybrid environment, be it public cloud or private cloud, can protect and inspect all traffic entering the cloud, leaving the cloud, or even laterally within the cloud, providing visibility and control using security policies. Once you are ready to build the rules, let us understand how a security policy can be configured from Strata Cloud Manager. From the configuration section, all things related to security policies is organized under security services. Before creating any security policy, let's assume that the administrator has observed threat events in the network and wants to understand how policies are currently deployed and whether the necessary compliance checks are in place or not with respect to best practice. So under best practice, you can find the details with respect to the configured policies, and it also gives recommendation to achieve the necessary compliance. Administrator can use this information and take necessary actions to fix the failed checks. Moving on to the other security services, the anti-spyware protects the network against command and control based attack. By default, Palo Alto Network provides pre-configured default profiles to get started from day zero. These default profiles are also enabled with inline cloud analysis to protect against any known and unknown command and control based attacks. The vulnerability protection protects any known and unknown remote code execution and command execution based attacks. You can also customize the profiles by adding custom profile rules to match a specific category. The wildfire and antivirus profile detects known and unknown malicious files. The best practice profile is also configured with the inline wildfire analysis to detect 95% of never before seen malwares. The file blocking profile provides capability to allow, block, or alert based on the file types. The web security or the URL filtering profile controls all the web traffic. The best practice profile is also enabled with inline analysis to protect phishing and malicious websites. Once the security profiles have been configured, we can club all of this as part of profile groups. Based on the best practice recommendation, Administrator now wants to create security policies based on users and allow access to the internal applications. Selecting pre-rule. After providing a name, under source category, specify the source zone. Under address, you have option to select IP address, address group, or EDLs. You can use custom or Palo Alto provided EDLs. And you can also use geolocation based policy. The administrator wants to create policy based on VPN pool, hence he enters the prefix. Under user, you can create user ID based mapping or users from local database. Here we are creating policy for a specific user. For devices category, you can select devices based on HIP profile. You can also create a custom profile for a specific device type like Windows, thin clients, Androids, or servers. The administrator intends to use engineering machine as the source device. Similarly, the destination is also defined. The application section allows the administrator to create application-specific policies instead of port and protocol. This ensures that only the applications you intend to allow is accessed by the user. You can select custom or default ports for this application. Under URL category, you can select a specific category of URL to allow or block. Next, you can define the action to take for the traffic matching this policy. You can set it to deny, allow, block, or reset. Once the traffic is allowed, it can further be administered to deeper inspections using cloud-delivered security services available within the profile group. For logging, you define what logs need to be collected in the Cortex data lake. Logging at the session end is the best practice recommendation. After you save these changes, you can push the configuration on the target firewalls. Now let's view this in action. The user EBOS has logged in via Global Protect. The administrator has restricted the access based on users. As an engineering user, EBOS has access to engineering applications, but he cannot access the finance application. Now let's assume that EBOS device has been compromised. The hacker now launches a command injection attack. This traffic gets blocked by our software next-gen firewall by the vulnerability protection profile in the security policy, and hence providing protection for inbound and east-west traffic. Since EBOS device has been compromised, the hacker now tries to exfiltrate data from the device and tries to send confidential and credit card information to its personal account. The DLP and the file blocking profile configured in the security policy prevents the data exfiltration of confidential data or any kind of personal information. If the hacker tries to launch a malware, this also gets blocked by our threat prevention configured for inbound and outbound traffic. Any kind of social networking site is also blocked by our URL filtering profile, and hence providing complete security and control for cloud-based traffic. Now let me flip to Strata Cloud Manager to demonstrate the monitoring capability and how a CISO or IT teams would view this as part of day-in-a-life activity. The dashboard provides overall health of the organization with respect to threats, executive summary, posture insights, and the feature adoptions. You can customize the dashboard from the drop-down. The executive dashboard details about the solutions deployed against the efficacy of these solutions in a summarized view. The feature adoption dashboard provides details about features configured. It provides information about the security practices which has not been enabled in the organization. For example, the credential threat prevention has not been adopted. The best practice dashboard outlines the information about various recommendations with respect to each firewall. This information can help the SecOps team to adopt to best practices without the need of a step-by-step guide. The Threat Insights section provides information about all the threats which has been observed and blocked or allowed. You can get details about the user which generated this threat and the security policies which were hit. You can get more details about these threats from the same page. For example, we see that the data exfiltration of credit card details was blocked by our enterprise DLP license. Now going back to the dashboard, the security posture insights shows the device security posture with respect to every device in the network. Here we see 7 critical risks which were identified in the network. When we double click on this, we observe 7 devices generated 57 critical risks, out of which I can again double click on a specific device. And we see that these were the top alerts which were generated by the data center firewall. Now when I click on one of the alerts, you can get more details about this alert. At the same time, administrator can also mitigate this alert and take necessary actions, and thus providing a unified management for network operations, visibility into threat and traffic, and maintain compliance. Our customers, as they move to cloud, like to use automation to support agility, lower complexity, and consistent security. Software firewalls are largely agnostic to developers' choice of tools. Our software firewalls work seamlessly with popular automation tools such as Terraform, Ansible, and cloud-native automation like AWS CloudFormation template and Azure ARM templates. Palo Alto Network provides Orchestration Hub as a single source for all templates and scripts based on our reference architecture to help you with automated deployments, automated scaling, and automated policy change. Our software firewall provides unmatched flexibility with credit-based licensing so that you can size and scale security to match your rapidly changing cloud business requirement. This consumption is designed to help you manage your security for business with flexibility and agility by cloud by streamlining the deployment and procurement cycles. It gives you ability to add or remove cores and adjust to the security services with software next-gen firewall credits automatically adjusted to meet the deployed security needs. To summarize, Palo Alto Networks software next-gen firewalls provides elastic and scalable deployment to cater to the scale and demand in cloud environment. With infrastructure as code support and templates available, we help with automated and easier deployment in the cloud. The unified management provides operationally simple platform for network security management across different infrastructure and cloud, providing single policy model across on-prem, private and public cloud environments. And lastly, and most important, our best-in-class security protects your users, devices, workloads, no matter where the network moves. Thank you for watching.